that the common good can only be achieved if the family is protected. That is why in the Irish Constitution the family takes up an entire section. So what is the good of the family, which is obviously therefore the common good? Because the family is the fundamental unit of society. So basically, it is the smallest structure or collective of people within that country, nation, tribe, so that if the integrity or the well-functioning of that unit of people is not prioritized and preserved, protected like, then the whole country falls apart. And whilst it might not be immediately obvious that that's what's happening, because even a sort of a failing country can have the appearance of prosperity, at least for a period of time before it collapses, it is still paramount that we economically protect the family unit so that we can preserve it for the common good, to establish the common good. So, our ancestors, the one who wrote the Irish Constitution, enshrined in it, or wrote in it, immovably. So when something's enshrined, it's written there and it can't be removed. Enshrined in the Irish Constitution is the right to gainful employment of the man, which is uniquely the preservation of the family. If the man doesn't have enough money to pay for his pregnant wife, he doesn't have enough money. My granddad raised 7 children on his one wage. And he was a blind man. Young men in the full of their health nowadays, 25-year-old men in the prime of their life, cannot afford to do the same, though they are working full-time. That is wrong. That is broken. That is against the law in this country, and for good reason. Enshrined in the Irish Constitution is that it must not be an endeavour, rather, it must not be a necessity of an economic kind that the woman leave the household to get a job. In other words, the woman must not have to get a job or be forced to get a job as a result of a lack of money when her husband is working full-time. It must not be necessitated economically that a woman get a job and leave the home. So important is it that a woman can afford to stay at home on her husband's wage to the family unit that our Constitution, which is correct in saying this, states that it is impossible to establish and uphold the common good if a woman is not in the home. Impossible. It doesn't work, because the common good extends beyond just being able to pay your bills. The common good is about nurturing your children, raising them, establishing a home life, a household and a home, and a place where those children can grow up, be taught good morality, and feel protected and nourished in their childhood. And if you cannot do that because you don't have enough money, even though the man is working full-time, your government have broken the law and are utterly failing to implement what is the Irish Constitution, such that they commit treason if they fail to give the man enough money to pay for his household. They have stopped even talking about gainful employment now, our politicians, because they are trying to give you the impression that you should only expect the minimum wage and the living wage and not the gainful employment wage. So they've stopped talking about gainful employment, even though it's in our Constitution. And they're doing it on purpose, they're orchestrating it, and it has to stop. It has to, because they're committing treason against our nation. They're attacking the fundamental unit of society. They're attacking the family and trying to blame somebody else, somewhere else, while they continue to fail to do the basics, excuse me, and to get the basics right. And they can't even do that. When a shopkeeper can balance the books every night, they can't do it once. Simple plus and minus mathematics. If they struggle, they can use a calculator. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. These are men with bachelor's degrees in finance, in economics, and they can't get the basics right. I don't accept it. It's deliberate, because it couldn't be as a result of their being inept. Because they couldn't have passed their exams if they're inept to that degree. The newsagents is doing a better job up the road there, every night, balancing their books before they do the safe drop or whatever it is. And they're incapable of it. I don't accept that. They're claiming that both man and woman are working full-time in the same household while they send the child to the creche, but the woman needs to put her hand out to the government when she's pregnant for a top-up while she's on maternity leave or whatever it is. That's preposterous. If they're getting paid so little that they can't put money aside for that, where are the government getting that extra money if the government only have money by way of the taxes? Where are they getting the extra money to give the taxpayer? It's like saying, well, we're the newsagents, we took 40 euros today in sales, but we'll give you back 60. Because we're the ones that give the government their money. If we give them 40 euros in taxes, how can they give us back 45? Something's not right. It's not, basically, that doesn't add up. That's fundamentally flawed. So they're obviously pretending to have more money than they have so that they can impoverish us. See the point? If they pretend to have more money, they can get more money out of us by way of that pretense. See the point? It's called monopoly money, fake money, so that you can monopolise by it. Try go down to the bank and say, here, I've got 40 euros. Can you give me 40 euros worth of gold for this money? I want my gold. The true value of our currency. I want mine in gold. I think they'd laugh at you. But they shouldn't be laughing, because it's not a laughing matter. Currency only has value by the gold behind it. Gold is the true earth reserve. It's the true foundation of the finance, the original currency, gold. So if you haven't got the gold to back up the paper, you have to stop printing it. But you go to the bank and try and ask them for your money in gold and see what happens. They're stealing from you by lying to you. And now they're pouring a jug over our head and telling us it's raining. It's gone too far. The Irishman has a right to gainful employment, and if the government don't do it, they should be in jail by way of the Irish law. Blessings in Jesus' name.